Now we are going to describe the construction and working of the bridge rectifier. Now bridge rectifier is one type of a full wave rectifier having 4 diodes. Now look at the circuit. It consists of a step down transformer. Okay, as usual, say for example 220 volt AC is stepped down to 12 volt AC. So the secondary voltage is still AC only. Okay students. So 12 volt for example I have considered. So this is a step down transformer having less number of turns. This time we are using a normal transformer as we have used in the half wave rectifier. Okay. The output terminals or the secondary terminals of the transformer are connected to the junctions A and C of a bridge looking like a Wheatstone's bridge. So in this bridge there are 4 diodes D1, D2, D3 and D4, and there are 4 junctions A, B, C and D. The junctions A and C are connected across the secondary terminals of the step down transformer. Okay students. So the junctions A and C are connected across the secondary terminals of the transformer, and the junctions B and D are connected to a load resistance which is grounded at one end. So this is similar in construction to that of a bridge in the Wheatstone's network which we have seen. So it is called as a bridge rectifier. So as usual, whereas the output voltage will be available is across the load resistance. Okay, are you ready for the explanation of the working, students? Okay. Now you look at the input voltage which is in the waveform. See what type of input voltage we have applied is 220 volt AC. So that these are all the positive half cycles. So these are all the positive half cycles, and the bottom is the negative half cycles of the input voltage. Okay. Now during the first half cycle, okay, during the first half cycle means the positive half cycle of the AC input voltage. Okay students. So when the positive half cycle of the input will enter into the circuit, at a particular instant of time, the terminal A will be positive and the terminal C will be negative. Okay students. So when the junction A is having a positive potential, what will happen to the 4 diodes, and due to the negative potential of the C, what will happen to the 4 diodes we are going to see. Okay, now you look at the circuit and tell me when the terminal A or the junction A is having a positive potential, look at the 4 diodes now. The P region of the diode D1 is in contact with the positive potential. So will it be forward biased or not? Yes, it will be forward biased. So D1 will be forward biased. At the same time, the same positive potential is connected to the N region of the diode D4. So the N region is connected to the positive, means it will be reverse biased, is it not? So this D4 is not going to conduct because it is reverse biased. Similarly, look at the junction C. So this junction C is having a negative potential, and the N region of diode D3 is in contact with the negative. N to negative means what? D3 will be forward biased. So D3 will be forward biased and it is going to conduct the current. And now this diode D2, the P region of the diode D2 is in contact with the negative terminal, and hence D2 will be reverse biased and it will not conduct. Okay students, have you understood the biasing condition of the 4 diodes? So which 2 diodes are forward biased here is D1 and D3. Keep in your mind always, the parallel diodes only will conduct and the remaining 2 parallel diodes will not conduct during each half cycle. So during the positive half cycle of the input AC voltage, now D1 and D3, the diodes D1 and D3 are forward biased. Okay, they are forward biased. So they conduct, okay, they conduct current. And D2 and D4. D2 and D4 are reverse biased. They are reverse biased means they do not conduct. They do not conduct current. So this is the idea. First, you have to keep in your mind. Have you understood, students, up to this? Okay. Now let us find out in which path the current is flowing in the circuit. So for that, let us consider this is the secondary terminal S1 and this is the secondary terminal S2. So now S1 and A are at a positive potential. As a result, diode D1 is conducting. So the current will start from S1. Okay, students. So the direction of current is from S1. Then it is followed to the path A. Then A to B, the diode D1 is conducting, is it not? From A to B. So from A, the current is flowing up to B. Then after B, the current cannot flow through the diode D2. Therefore, the current is flowing through the load resistance RL after B. Then from the load resistance, now the current is flowing up to the terminal D. There is a continuous wire connection up to D. So this is after RL, it is going to D. After D, this diode D3 will conduct the current. Therefore, D to C there is a current flow. D to C. Then C is in contact with which terminal? Secondary terminal S2. So this is the direction of flow of current. Okay, my dear students, have you understood? So during the first half cycle, the current will be conducted by the diodes D1 and D2. So in the portion A to B, diode D1 will conduct, and in the portion D to C, the diode D3 will conduct. So this is during the first half cycle. Now what is going to happen during the second half cycle? I am going to explain now. Be ready for that. So during the second half cycle, now the polarities of the secondary of the transformer is going to change, so that A will be negative potential and the junction C will be at the positive potential. So I am going to summarize this now. During the second half cycle, that means during the negative half cycles of the input AC. Okay, students, now you will see that the junction A is negative. Okay, when A is negative and N region of D4 is connected to negative, means D4 will be forward biased. Diode D4 will be forward biased. Similarly, when the junction C is having a negative potential, the P region of the diode D2 is in contact with the positive potential, and hence what will happen? D2 will be forward biased. So D4 and D2 will be conducting because they are forward biased. Now since the negative potential at A is in contact with the P region, when P is connected to negative means what? The diode D1 will be reverse biased. Similarly, you see here the positive potential at C is in contact with the N region. So what happens to D3? D3 is reverse biased. It will not conduct. Have you understood, students? I am going to write the summary of it. So now the diodes D2 and D4 are forward biased. Okay, they are forward biased and they conduct. Okay, they conduct current. Okay, they conduct the current. Now what happens to the remaining two diodes? D1 and D3 are reverse biased. So I will write D1 and D3 are reverse biased. Okay, are reverse biased. So as a result of this, no, they do not conduct. They do not conduct current. Now let us try to find out the path along which the current is flowing in the output. Okay, so now you start from the terminal S2, because S2 is only positive now, is it not, during the negative half cycle. So S2 is positive means the current will start from the terminal S2, then up to C. So S2 is followed by the point C. Now after this point C, the current cannot flow in this path through D3 because D3 is reverse biased. Therefore, the current should follow the path CB. So after this C, the current is flowing up to the point B, through which diode is D2. Then after reaching this point B, the current is flowing through the load resistance, So this time also the current is flowing in the downward direction only. Understand? Now after the load resistance from B, after the load resistance, now the current is flowing through the continuous wire up to the junction D. Okay students, up to the junction D, the current is flowing. After that, the current cannot flow through D3, but D4 is conducting, therefore the current will flow in the path D to A. So from D to A, then A is in contact with the negative terminal S1. So that this path is a closed path for the current to flow. So in the first half cycle also, the current was flowing in the downward direction through the load resistance. During the second half cycle also, the current is still flowing in the downward direction through the load resistance. That current multiplied by the load resistance will be equal to the output voltage. So the output voltage is unidirectional voltage and output current is unidirectional current. Okay students, now we are going to draw the waveform of the output voltage. So now during the first half cycle, which two diodes were conducting, you tell me? D1 and D3 were conducting or not? Therefore, the waveform is permitted. So in this interval 0 to T by 2, this is permitted. And for this, the diode D1 and D3. Understand? The diode D1 and D3 conducted the current. Now during the second half cycle, D2 and D4 are forward biased. Now also the half cycle will be permitted to flow, is it not? So now you see here during this second half cycle also, this time it is because of D2 and D4. What next you can guess during the third half cycle, which is a positive half cycle? Now also the current and voltage, okay? So that will be permitted. This is because D1 and D3 are forward biased. Like that, the next half cycle will be because of D2 and D4. So it is like a full wave rectifier only. Am I right, students? It is like a full wave rectifier only. So first itself I told you that bridge rectifier is also one type of full wave rectifier. But here 4 diodes are used. Whereas in the center tap transformer type of rectifier, what we used was what? Only 2 diodes. So if you compare the cost of 2 diodes and the cost of 4 diodes, the cost of 4 diodes only should be naturally higher, is it not? Like that only we will think. And the cost of diode is very few only, 1 rupee or 2 rupees only. Whereas the cost of the center tap transformer is very high. Understand? So which is costlier is the center tap type of a transformer only is very much costlier. Okay students? So comparing to this bridge rectifier and the center tap rectifier, both are full wave rectifiers only. Which is advantageous for us is the bridge rectifier cost wise, and efficiency is almost the same. Efficiency here also I can write the efficiency eta is equal to what? 81.2%. Same like that of the center tap only. Okay. Now I am going to tell you some of the uses. Okay students. So it is used in laptop chargers and mobile chargers. So laptop and mobile chargers and UPS. That is uninterrupted power system. So you must have heard the UPS, is it not? In your computers and all. So UPS, uninterrupted power supplies or power systems. Then it is also used in the inverters. So when there is a power shutdown in some rural areas and all, whenever there is a power shutdown in shopping malls also, they use inverters, is it not? In inverters also, this full wave rectifier, namely the bridge rectifier, is being used. So now I told you that even half wave rectifier is also used for mobile chargers like this. And this laptop charger is used for powering the laptops. Understand? So inside this there is a rectifier circuit. A transformer will be there, and this type of 4 diode rectifier circuit also is there. So my dear students, hoping that you must have understood the different types of rectifiers. I told you in this session, rectification means what? The process of conversion of AC into DC, that is alternating current into direct current, or alternating voltage into direct voltage. But the direct voltage which is available as output of all the type of rectifiers which we have been discussing all this time is again not constant voltage, because the voltage varies with time or not. See, the voltage is still varying. It is pulsating voltage. Understand? But it is unidirectional. That is correct. Single direction only the current is allowed to flow. And hence the output waveform is unidirectional. But still it is pulsating. It is oscillating. So here also what should be the frequency of the output voltage? If the frequency of the input is 50 Hertz, here also the frequency of the output is 2 into 50 is equal to 100 Hertz. Only the half wave rectifier, the output also is 50 Hertz. Okay. So when I say that output is having a certain frequency, means definitely the magnitude of the voltage is varying with time. So how to eliminate this? First, we have to give the output of the rectifier to the filter circuit. What is the filter circuit made up of? The passive components such as the capacitor, resistor and the induction coil. Combination of any two or one or all the three can be used. So what is the use of this filter circuit? It will eliminate the impurities which are called as the ripples. The mixing of AC with the DC. Okay. Such disturbances are called as ripples. They can be eliminated. And then the output will be 90%. It will be constant voltage. Okay, students? Fine. Have you all understood? Wish you success.